A very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of the Victoria Memorial Hall and Earth Day Network India, we welcome you to this afternoon's, which I feel is very, very important session. A lot of us have great New Year resolutions and so on and so forth, only to break them immediately in 2 or 3 days' time. But I hope that, as a takeaway after today's session, many people will make such resolutions and stick by those resolutions, because then we will probably have a world that would be a better place to live in for the future generation. We have spent our time already more or less, right? So the event we are cordially welcoming you to is a talk session titled Energy Swaraj, Ways to Lead Low Carbon Lifestyle, with Professor Chetan Singh Solanki. Thank you very much for taking out time, Professor, and being in our midst. As you can see on the screen already, Professor Solanki is a professor of IIT Bombay and a founder of Energy Swaraj Foundation, as well as a brand ambassador of solar energy for the government of MP, which we did not put in our creative because we were afraid then probably the chief minister of this state will say, be our brand ambassador also, and then how many states can you be a brand ambassador of, right? Good. So Professor Solanki, his biodata makes very interesting reading, and it's a rather long biodata. I'm just giving you the essential parts of it. Is an educator, researcher, innovator, and happiness program teacher. And now that is something that is very important, because nowadays people go on asking, what is happiness? And I remember that a television channel in Germany, the ARD, which is the first channel, about 13 years ago, had done a documentary film where they did worldwide interviews on what does happiness mean to you, to different people. And the kind of answers that came out was also very, very fascinating. So let us see what Professor Solanki has to say about happiness quotient for the human beings here. And he is a teacher of art of living, who is currently, please note this, on unpaid leave from the IIT Bombay, because he's following his passion here, and he's moving around in this bus that you see here, which says there Yatra 2020 to 2030. So for these 11 years, he has undertaken Energy Swaraj Yatra in this solar bus until to 2030. In this yatra, Professor Solanki has pledged not to go home and to make wherever he goes his home, and stay in the solar yatra bus, probably till somebody comes and says, "Arey bus kar yaar." It is designed with the purpose to create a public movement towards adoption of 100% solar energy, which is something that shouldn't be very difficult in our country for the kind of climate that we live in, but we should know how to do it. He has been honored with several awards and has also been referred to as Solar Man of India by Times of India, The Hindu, and India Today. He is also the advisor to a couple of international organizations. Professor Solanki has written 8 books and published over 100 research papers internationally. He has 4 US patents to his credit. During 2019, Professor Solanki traveled across the world, covering 30 countries to spread the message of solar energy. In his ongoing Energy Swaraj Yatra, he has already traveled more than 25,000 kilometers, reaching about 120,000 people across 16 Indian states. The 11 years yatra is expected to travel across the country 4 to 5 times of whatever I have mentioned now. The yatra aims to bring energy literacy to over 100 crores and encourage over 1 crore families to switch to 100% solar energy. His Energy Swaraj Yatra is with the intention of sowing seeds for this movement so that we can all create a better and beautiful world, which is, of course, a common kind of motto that we all have. But to what extent we can be successful is some of the tips that we shall get from Professor Solanki in this talk today. So, Professor Solanki, without much ado, I would like to invite you, but before doing that, there are two pleasant things to be done. One is that I have to invite Mrs. Karuna Singh, who has been instrumental in getting you to us today of the Earth Day Network. So, Karuna, I would like you to say a couple of sentences here on this occasion.
My pleasure being here. I'm with Earth Day Network, and we are inspired by the global organization earthday.org, which works in 180 countries and more to connect with over 50,000 organizations to take the environmental movement forward. We strongly believe that there is a need for everyone to realize that we are in it together. It is not just the government's job or an institution's job, that we do it all together. And low carbon lifestyles is something that each one of us can do. And if we take the resolution to we resolve today to do it, we know that Professor Solanki's guides to do that will be very, very helpful. Earth Day Network has been working in India for low carbon lifestyles. We go to urban kids and we show them how to do that. Something as simple as vampire energy, which is energy that is still in your socket, that comes into your wires if you don't switch off your machines from there. And we also believe in healthy energy, where we go to women in the villages and show them how to give up fossil fuel use. But at the same time, we connect them to banks and other government organizations that can help them finance that. Because without finance, no matter how much they want to do it, they can't do it. So let me not be in the way of Professor Solanki, who is, we are privileged to say, is an advisor to Earth Day Network. Thank you again, Professor Solanki, for all you do for us. Thank you for making the effort to come here. And from our side, our commitment is there to do everything possible to support your yatra, your Energy Swaraj. May I also thank Dr. Jayanta Sengupta, Raju Raman for hosting us today, and for always doing that whenever we ask them to do so. And it's such a pleasure to see Mr. Soman Mitra here, who was a guide for us for our Backseat Buddies initiative. So I have some solar torches to hand over to you. Professor Solanki, would you like to help me hand over? So I will give it to you first.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's and Raju.
Oh, I get one too. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I've left the boxes there in case you need. Thank you very much, Raju.
Thank you, Karuna. If Professor Solanki were to travel by some airlines, Indigo or whatever, they would allow you only 15 kg of luggage, yeah? But in your bus, you don't have that problem. So may I request the Secretary and Curator of Victoria Memorial Hall, Dr. Jayanta Sengupta, to kindly hand over a small memento on behalf of Victoria Memorial Hall to Professor Solanki. In the bus, it shouldn't be a problem. In flights, people find it difficult to take it. It is only 357 grams. Thank you. And now the microphone is all yours, Professor Solanki. Yeah? And of course, after he has finished his presentation, he will take questions, definitely from all of you. And the first question will not be from Priyadarshi, from somebody else, okay? Right.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks, everyone, particularly the host here. Thanks to Sen Gupta ji, thanks to Raju ji, thanks to Karuna ji for hosting the yatra here in this historical, beautiful place. And it is always pleasure to be among the good audience who could understand and who could listen. What I'm going to talk to you today is about the Energy Swaraj and what is the idea behind the Energy Swaraj and why do we need it at all at the first place. I would also bring a sense to you that we the modern humans, we do not understand energy, and it is a lack of understanding of energy has created so much problem for ourselves. So how to solve that problem and how to bring a solution to the current problem that the entire world is facing. Before I start, let me bring your attention to this fact that today we are the most evolved species ever existed on this planet, isn't it? Never ever in the history of this planet people were so evolved as we are today. We are scientifically advanced, technologically advanced, economically advanced. We can actually go to the moon, we can send our mission to the Mars. If there is a problem in somebody's heart, we can replace it. And we are so advanced, and in the times of Ramayana and Mahabharata, only few people had vision to see beyond. Like, Sanjay in Mahabharata could see beyond, sitting at his place. Today we are so advanced that with all our WhatsApp video call, we can see anything and any time at the same time. So we are very advanced human species, and with this advancement we also got the power. But if you get the power and not be philosophical, it is going to be dangerous. And that's what Plato mentioned. Plato was a Greek philosopher. He said, every king, king is supposed to be very powerful and they affect the lives of many, many people. He said, every king should be a philosopher. Or only philosopher should become a king. But the unfortunate part of the today's modern world is that we are losing touch of philosophy. As we are growing more and more, we are becoming less and less philosophical. And that is the problem. For example, we all know that we should grow. Our GDP should grow, our economy should grow. But does anybody know how much it should grow? Is it okay to grow GDP by 5% or 7% or 10% or 15 or 20? How much? Nobody knows the answer. And if I ask this question to even Prime Minister, tell me how much GDP should grow, I don't think Prime Minister knows the answer, isn't it? The only thing that we know is we should grow. That's it. Also, we do not know how long to grow. Is it okay to grow 10 more years and job will be done? Or should we grow for another 20 years or 30 years or 50 years? Again, nobody has any idea. The only thing that we know is we should grow and we should keep growing. And that's why we are in trouble, because we are not philosophical. Without philosophy, you are like headless chickens, And I keep saying that the modern humans are like headless chickens. They do not know what you are doing, how much they are growing, why they are growing, when they should stop. It is like driving a vehicle, without any brakes. That is what we are right now. So I'm going to be philosophical and I'm going to ask you some philosophical questions. How are you all? How are you all? Fine? That is disaster. Being fine. I thought when you see a professor from IIT Bombay, you are going to be happy. I thought when science is growing, technology is growing, economy is growing, you are going to be happy. But the unfortunate part in the world is everybody is fine. Isn't it? You go and ask a taxi driver, how are you? He'll say fine. You go to college and gatherings like that, how are you? Fine. You go to big office and ask collector, how are you? He will also say fine. So I feel there is something wrong in this world, isn't it? There is something wrong. How can everybody be fine? And Gita says that behind every single act that we perform in our life, whether we want to look good, whether we want to earn well, study well, eat well, whatever we want to do, there's only and only one purpose, that is to be happy, isn't it? When we are all stuck at fine level, so I feel there is something wrong in this world. So wherever I talk, I keep saying that there are only two choices to attend my talk. Either you are happy by choice or you are happy by force. So you can choose whichever you want. Which one you want? You want to be happy by choice or by force?
So we come fine, we go back after the talk.
You go back happy. Very nice. So basically that's keep asking that, okay, GDP is increasing and what is the purpose of increasing GDP? Well, increase in prosperity. Everybody wants to do that. So my question is, every time when GDP increases by 5%, does it also result in increase in smile by 5%? GDP means prosperity. So Every time when GDP increasing 5%, smile should also increase by 5%. Is that happening? No, that's not happening. Is this happening? As we are growing, the tension is increasing, stress is increasing, violence is increasing, depression is increasing. So, as I said, I feel there is something wrong in this world. In Mumbai language we say, दुनिया में कुछ तो लोचा है भाई, कुछ तो लोचा है. ये कैसे हो सकता है? GDP बढ़ रहा है, smile कम हो रहा है. Something terribly wrong. Let me ask my second philosophical question to all of you. Tell me, what is the most important thing in your life? Anyone? What is the most important thing in your life? Possible happiness. We just discuss about it. Of course, many people are not saying they may be shy, but money, parents, children, job, satisfaction, position, respect. These are the things which are important in our life. But you know what? We still miss out the most important thing in our life. Health. You want to know what is the most important thing in your life? By any chance, if you want to know? Anybody wants to know? Hello? Do you want to know what is the important thing in your life? The most important thing, Let us, for that we'll do an exercise. What we'll do is we'll stop breathing for 1 minute. Can we do that? And I don't get that exercise done, because if I do that exercise, I'm sure 80-90% people will die. So if I do that exercise wherever I go, that will become difficult. So I don't do this exercise, but I hope the answer is clear, right? Air is the most important thing in our life. We cannot survive without it more than a minute, isn't it? If it is so important, tell me, have you done something in your life to preserve or protect the air? Possibly not. But have you done something in your life to pollute the air? Yes. We are all working very hard day in and day out to ensure that the air is polluted, water is polluted, soil is polluted, isn't it? It's a competition. Who can pollute more? So one side, GDP is increasing, but the nature is degrading. And what is this nature? This is the nature that nurtures our life. You cannot live without air, you cannot live without water, you cannot live without soil. Yes, you can live without a home, you can live without a computer, mobile phone, but you cannot live without nature. So that's why I said there is something wrong in this world. How is it possible that we, the modern humans, are doing this? And I keep asking this, who is degrading the nature? When I ask this question, who is degrading the nature, by the way? We are doing, humans are doing. When I ask this question, all intelligent, smart people, what they say? Who is degrading? Humans are degrading. I am not doing it. Then I have to say, hello, wake up. You are the human. So, not humans are doing, not we are doing. Please also don't say we are doing, because whenever say we are degrading the nature, the responsibility is not yours. It is shared and you do not actually find out. But you are the one who is using energy. You are the one who is eating food. You are the one who is wearing clothes. You are the one who is using vehicle. You are the one who is enjoying the air conditioner in this hall. And therefore, who is degrading the nature? I. Each individual is degrading the nature. Every element of the nature that supports our life is in a bad shape today. Air quality index, for example, is supposed to be less than 50, but in most cities it is 150 and above, 200, 300. Delhi it goes to 400 and 500. Last winter the Delhi air quality index went to 999. You know why? Because there is no index beyond 999. Forest is considered the lungs of the planet. And we have cut down the forest by 33%. Imagine if somebody cuts your lungs by 33%, what will happen? Soil is important, but more than 30% of the soil has been degraded into dust, where you can't grow anything. Water is also important, but 500 million people in the world today suffers from water scarcity throughout the year, 500 million people. We can't even guarantee clean drinking water to every human being on this planet, and we call ourselves modern, smart, intelligent people. There is something wrong, isn't it? The question is, what has driven us to this state? How come we have become like this? And the answer is use of energy. Ever since we started using carbon-based energy, we started degrading. The nature started degrading. So the energy is important. In fact, the whole world is play of energy. Everything that happens around us is energy, isn't it? You are energy, I am energy. machines are energy, this, everything is energy. In fact, I say there are two types of energy, internal and external. The fact that science is growing, technology is growing, economy is growing, but smiles are not growing. The glow on the face is not growing because our own internal energy is also going down. It is degrading as we are becoming advanced. And the external energy that drives our life, our vehicles, our kitchen, our machines, our lights, our fans, that energy also is in a bad shape. As per the United Nations, there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. And in the center of each of these goals is energy. So all our social growth parameters, all our economic growth parameters, everything has something to do with energy. Whether it is poverty, hunger, health, education, equity, women empowerment, industrialization, sustainable consumption, climate change, even global peace and partnership has something to do with energy. So energy plays a tremendous, tremendous role in our life. Everything is energy and energy is everything. But unfortunately, we are playing a wrong game of energy. Not only wrong game, very wrong game of energy. As I said earlier, we do not know energy. All our educated people, scientists, policymakers, politicians do not understand energy, and I'll tell you why. This actually shows how wrong we are going. This is a graph of how our energy consumption is evolved over time. This is the time when we started to industrialize ourselves, that is 1850. And before 1850, we were all using renewable energy, the biomass. But in 1850, we started using coal. And then 1900, we started using crude oil. And in 1950, we started using gas. But look at what happened beyond 1950, how fast our energy consumption has grown. And today in 2022, as I'm talking to you, we are using coal, oil, gas, solar, wind, biomass, hydro, nuclear, all kind of energies we are using. But the problem is, majority of this energy comes from three sources. How much? 80 to 85% of our energy comes from coal, oil and gas. So what is the problem if it comes from coal, oil and gas? What's wrong with it? The first problem is we don't have it. India imports 80 to 85% of crude oil, 50 to 60% of gas, 20 to 30% of coal, 60 to 70% of nuclear fuel. So we are all import dependent. And for importing energy, you need money. You need foreign exchange, you need dollars. For that, you need to export. And for exporting, you need to manufacture. And for manufacturing, you need energy. Look at the vicious cycle we are in. So that is one problem. And whatever is happening to Sri Lanka, for example, right now, could happen to any other country also. There are 167 countries in the world which are import dependent. But that's not a big problem. That can be tackled, with a proper economic policy. The bigger problem is each one of these are made out of carbon. So the coal is carbon, oil is carbon, gas is carbon. So every time when we burn carbon, it results in this equation: carbon plus oxygen equal to energy plus carbon dioxide. By any chance, you are responsible for carbon dioxide emission? By any chance? Yes. Every second of our life, we are emitting carbon dioxide. 85% energy comes from coal, oil and gas, and therefore 85% time that you are living on the planet, you are responsible for carbon dioxide emission. Some of the emissions are very easy to understand. So light that we are using is because of coal, so we are emitting. The petrol and diesel that you are using is because of petrol, diesel, that results in carbon dioxide emission. But probably you are not aware that when you brush your teeth in the morning, you are responsible for CO2 emission. A lot of energy is required to brush your teeth. You need to manufacture toothpaste, and then you need to package toothpaste, then you need to transport toothpaste, then it has to be stored in the shop, then you go and buy the toothpaste. That's a journey that toothpaste travels. You are not even aware how many 100 and 1,000 kilometers your toothpaste is manufactured. But toothpaste is not enough, you need toothbrush. Again, manufacturing, packaging, transporting, storage. That's not enough, toothbrush and toothpaste, you need water. For that you need to manufacture pipe. For that you need to manufacture motor, then you need overhead tanks. That is also not enough, you need wash basin. That also takes a lot of energy. That is also not enough, you need mirror. And then you need electricity to run the light and motor. Such a small activity, just brushing your teeth, requires so much of energy. Imagine how much carbon emission happens. Imagine what activities you do throughout the day, what is happening. So we are all emitting carbon dioxide for many, many things. The fact that AC is running, you are emitting. The fact the chair on which you are sitting is also responsible for carbon dioxide emission. The floor on which you are sitting is also responsible for carbon dioxide emission. So this is how we have become. And where do we emit this carbon dioxide, by the way? Where do we emit this carbon dioxide? In the air, isn't it? We all burn fuel and emit carbon dioxide in the air, and we consider air as your father's property, right? It belongs to your father or your grandfather. We think that as much carbon dioxide as I want, I can emit in the atmosphere without having any limit. As a result of that, right now, as I'm talking to you, this is what is the story. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, the amount of carbon dioxide was constant. But ever since we started using coal, oil and gas, look where it is growing. And as I'm talking to you right now, there is 50% extra carbon dioxide sitting in the atmosphere, 50 extra. Is that a big change? 50% extra carbon dioxide? Yes. Who has caused this change? I. Who has caused this? Each individual, because we are doing it. In the entire history of human being, whatever carbon dioxide that was emitted, 50% of that carbon dioxide came only in last 30 years. Can you believe it? This is how terrible we have become. This is how dangerous we have become. Within our own lifetime, such a drastic change we are causing on the planet. This carbon dioxide is the garbage of the atmosphere. It's a colorless and smellless gas. You can't even feel it. You can't even see it. But it is there, you are emitting. You know, second problem is that the kind of kitchen waste that we throw from your kitchen, maybe 1 or 2 kilogram per day, maybe 50, 60 kilogram per month. But the amount of carbon dioxide that we are throwing is 400 to 600 kilograms per family per month. You know, in order to realize what we are doing, all the weight of carbon dioxide that you are emitting in 1 month should be kept on your head, isn't it? To feel what you are doing, what we are doing each individual. 400 to 600 kilograms every month, every family. The third problem is, once this carbon dioxide is emitted, it is going to remain in the atmosphere for 300 years. How many years? 300 years. All the lights and this AC that we are using right now, it will have impact for 300 years. The food that you are going to cook today will have impact for 300 years. So for 300 years, it is going to be there, CO2 is going to be there. This is the average life, it can be there for up to 1000 years also. The fourth problem is, this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is going to do something. It is not going to sit idle there. It is a greenhouse gas. And what is the job of the greenhouse gas? To create a greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? When we all sit in our car and close the window and do not switch on the AC, you would realize what is greenhouse effect. It just starts heating up, warming up. And this greenhouse gas is going to do exactly the same for 300 years. So it is heating up the planet. As a result of that, look at the temperature of the planet and how fast it is increasing. This is the graph of the temperature of the planet, and look at what is happening from 1950-60. It is linearly going up, but look at the last 7, 8, 10 years. Not only linear, it is accelerating, it is going beyond linear. And that's why 10 hottest years are the last 15 years. They came into last 15 years. So the planet is becoming warmer and warmer and warmer every single passing year. Right now, as I'm talking to you, the planet has become warmer by 1.19 degrees centigrade, which is equal to 2.14 degree Fahrenheit. Again, is that a big change? Is that a big increase in the temperature? Answer is yes. It's a very big change. You know, our body temperature is 97, 98 degree Fahrenheit. And suppose our body temperature increases by 2 degree Fahrenheit, it becomes 100 degree. And when body temperature is 100 degree, what we say? Body has got the fever. And the planet's temperature is increased by 2 degree Fahrenheit. Can we say that the planet has got the fever? Hello? Yes. My God. Planet has got the fever. Who has caused it? You would also say this. Who has caused this? I. Very nice. We have caused the change. We caused the fever to the planet. And when you get a fever, what happens? You take paracetamol, you take medicine. Is there any paracetamol we can give it to our planet? No, there's nothing. When you get fever, you lose balance. You can't eat properly, you can't sleep properly, you can't work properly. Similar to that, because of this fever, planet has also lost the balance and planet cannot behave properly. And we can all feel this, isn't it? In your experience, have you felt the change in the weather system? Yes, things have changed. And what has changed? The rains has changed, monsoons have changed. There are floods and floods and floods everywhere in the world, not only in our country. We know what are the floods in Assam, what is happening. 50 lakh people got affected. And within a year, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, everywhere. But not only India. There are floods in Australia, China, Japan. Some 8-10 months there were floods in Western Europe, 150 people died. There are floods in Peru, Brazil, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a desert country. There are floods in Saudi Arabia also. Imagine the kind of imbalance it is there right now. Opposite of the first is forest fires. Have you heard of Amazon forest fires? Yes, then California, then Australia, then Greece and Italy and Turkey and Russia. What not, where not? And millions of acres of forest is getting burned. Billions of animals and insects are burning alive. Does that affect you? Yes. There is a report which says that if all the animals and insects on the planets are killed, the human life will finish within 3 months' time. They are so important to the entire ecosystem of the planet. So when fires happens in Australia, definitely it does affect us in many, many ways. Temperatures are increasing and ice is melting. North Pole and South Pole, enormous amount of ice is melting. From the Antarctica, there was a big iceberg that was broken away called A68. You can Google such A68. It was 6,000 square kilometer in the size. And the scientists have estimated that it will melt down within 10 years. In reality, it got melted within 4 years. So what I'm saying is, not only the climate change is happening, the global warming is happening, it is accelerating. This year, the Antarctica, one of the stations, the temperature went at one station 38 degrees centigrade above normal. Above normal. So suppose Calcutta temperature is 40, imagine what will happen if it goes to 78 degrees centigrade. So all these erratic weather patterns are increasing in intensity and in frequency. And that is happening right in front of our eyes. The melted ice water goes into the sea and sea level is rising. This image is of Jakarta, Indonesia's capital. It is called world's fastest sinking city. Government of Indonesia is spending $30 billion to shift the entire city. $30 billion image. And why do you go that far? I'm traveling within India. I saw in Odisha, a lot of coastal areas disappearing. Sundarbans we went. A lot of islands are disappearing. Just recently, yesterday's news, there was one island which was, under the kind of controversy. India put its own claim, Bangladesh put its own claim. The news says that now the controversy is over. You know why? Because island submerged in the water. There's no controversy anymore. That's what is happening right in our eyes. Heat waves, all of us have experienced the heat wave this summer. All over the world that has happened. In Canada, temperature went to 49.6 degrees centigrade. 950 people died in advanced country like Canada with scientific advancement and economic advancement. So the entire balance of the planet is lost. And the question is, what next? What is going to happen? By the way, the main cause of this imbalance is use of energy. That was the main thing that I told. It is because of energy that has happened. What is going to happen 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line? Well, the climate scientist tells us that we need to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, ideally, if not 1.5, 2 degrees centigrade. And that was the report that came, a very famous report. We should limit the global warming at 1.5 degrees centigrade. Why should we do this? What is going to happen at 1.5 degrees centigrade? Will there be a sudden disaster and everybody will die on the planet? Answer is no. Nothing like that is going to happen. And I keep saying, don't worry. इतनी आसान मौत नहीं मिलने वाली, इतने आसानी से नहीं मरेंगे हम, नेचर इतने आसानी से नहीं मारेगी. You know how nature is going to kill us? In a movie, if there is a dangerous villain, how does a dangerous villain kills a hero? आहिस्ता आहिस्ता, तड़पा तड़पा के. So how nature is going to kill us? This is one thing you should repeat with me. How is nature going to kill us? Tadpa tadpa ke. So when the temperature will cross this line, it is like Lakshman Rekha. You can go to the other side, you cannot come back. 1.5 degrees centigrade, the climate change will start to become irreversible. And by 2 degrees centigrade, it will all be irreversible. You cannot correct it. Beyond 2 degrees centigrade, if all the human beings on the planet become saint, साधु संत बन जाए और डिसाइड करे कि सिर्फ एक लंगोट पहन के जिएंगे, कुछ नहीं करेंगे, still you cannot reverse the situation. It's an irreversible process. And once it starts to become irreversible, means what? More floods, more droughts, more heat waves, more cold waves, more forest fires, more sea level rise, more diseases. Everything will become more and more. Already right now, millions of people are getting affected. And I think last year economic loss was some $80 billion because of the climate change events. So this is going to happen more and more. So would you like to do something to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade? Yes? Only few people want to do something? Everybody wants to do something. Very nice. Please keep telling, The second problem is we don't have time, even if you want to do something, This is how terrible we are. The amount of time left before we touch global warming of 1.5 degrees centigrade depends on the carbon budget that we have left with. And this is very scientific. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and amount of global warming is linearly correlated. So the more CO2 means more heating. So for the budget for 1.5 degrees centigrade is only 270 billion ton, and 2 degrees centigrade 1000 billion ton. Look, it looks like a big number. But you know what? The rate at which we are emitting is this. Can you all read this number? How the rate at which we are emitting carbon dioxide? Can we read this number? 13.3 lakh kilogram of carbon dioxide is emitted in how much time? 1 second. Only 1 second. And how much is 1 second? This is 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. In this much time, how much? 13.3 lakh, 13.3 lakh, 13.3 lakh. How dangerous we have become, isn't it? We have become so dangerous, and when you divide this number by this number, you get the time left before we touch 1.5 degrees centigrade. What do you guess? How much time is left? Do we have 500 years? Or 200 years? Or 100 years? Or 50 years? Or 40? Or 30? Or 20? Or 10? No, we don't have that much time also. This is the time you have it. 7 years and 43 days, 19 hours, 23 minutes, 24 seconds, as on 9th June. And today, if you do the Google search and find out your climate clock, as per the today's climate clock, it is 7 years and 4 days only. So congratulations to all of you for being in such a wonderful situation, and wish you all the best. So we have big task and big problem in front of our eyes, and therefore IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, says that if at all we want to solve the problem, we need to make a change in what? Change in energy use pattern, because the whole change is caused because of the energy. So we need to make a change in what? Energy use pattern. And if you want to make a change in energy use pattern, and if you want to solve the problem, there are two qualifying conditions. Number one, the change has to be drastic. Number two, when should the change happen? Immediately. Drastic and immediate change in energy use pattern is required. Does anybody understand what does it mean? Does our policymaker knows what does it mean? Does our bureaucrat know what does it mean? Politician know what it means? No. I believe 99% people, including educated one, do not even understand what does it mean. Many people feel that plantation will do the job. What do you think? If we plant, each one of us starting planting one every day, do we able to restore the situation? No, because if you plant today, it's a slow process. It takes 10, 15, 20 years before a plant is fully grown, when it absorbs 1 or 2 tons of carbon dioxide. That's not enough. Many people feel making the whole world plastic free, is that going to solve the problem? No, Making the whole world plastic free is not drastic. What you need is change in the energy use pattern. Please do take a big note of it. You need to change the energy use pattern. And what is energy? Your chair is energy, your furniture is energy, tiles is energy, brush is energy, your clothes are energy, your food is energy, everything is energy. So you need to make a change in everything that we do in our life. Right? Would you do that? The problem is we are all stuck in our contradictions. And the more modern we become, more contradictory we are. Everything that we do or many things that we do are contradictory. For example, all of us want a growth. Yes? Everybody wants a growth? Yes or no? Yes. And for growth you need energy. But 85% energy comes from coal, oil and gas, which is going to result in carbon dioxide emission, which is going to cause climate change. So if you want growth, you should take climate change with you, isn't it? If you want growth, you need to increase in energy supply. And if you want to mitigate climate change, you need decrease in energy supply. What should we do? Increase or decrease? Actually, it's a very simple question. There cannot be any second thought. We need to all decrease energy supply. But we are so much in our own, life that nobody says it should decrease. What do you think? Energy supply should increase or decrease? It looks like it decreased, but nobody wants to say that it should decrease because it means many things, isn't it? In fact, this problem is not the problem of climate change anymore. It is not the problem of change in temperature, change in weather system. No, it is a problem of survivability of human life on this planet. Whether the human life can survive or not itself is a question mark. And therefore, I keep saying that anybody who can solve the problem should not get just 1 or 2 Nobel Prize. He should get 8 to 10 Nobel Prizes. In this audience, anybody wants a Nobel Prize, by the way? Nobody wants. Okay, very nice. So if anytime you wish to get a Nobel Prize, what you need to do is solve this problem. What is the problem? Ensure that there is a growth without affecting the climate change. So far, nobody knows how to do it. But if you can do that, you definitely deserve a Nobel Prize. According to me, the 2 qualifying conditions, drastic and immediate, So, according to me, following thing needs to be done. What we need to do? We need to switch to solar energy 100%, not 99%. 100%. If you all switch to solar energy 100%, will it be a drastic change? Yes, that's the first qualifying condition. What is the second qualifying condition? Immediate. So when should we switch to solar energy 100%? Right now. You're getting my point? Okay? And if you really understood what I'm saying, then do one thing, when you go home today, write a love letter. To whom? To West Bengal Electricity Board, And what should you be writing? You should write, Dear Board, I have been using your electricity, but today finally my eyes are opened and I decided that I will generate my own electricity with solar. And therefore I do not need your electricity connection. You please take back your connection. Yours sincerely. Will you all do that? Well, you have to do this, If not today, do it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, do this month. If not this month, do this year. If not this year, within 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years time, as soon as possible, please switch on to 100% solar energy. We have no choice. Yes? Sometime in your life you'll do, switch to solar energy. Sometime at least. Yes? Very nice. By the way, how many of you are using solar energy right now? How many of you are using solar energy right now? 1, 2 people, 3 people. Very nice. How many of you are eating food every day? Oh, some people have doubt whether they eat food every day or not. Well, that's a problem. So the modern humans, we have become very stupid and very dangerous. But that's another characteristic of modern humans. We also become very ignorant. Is it possible to grow food without solar energy? No. So if you are eating food, means you are using solar energy. Yes or no? Are you breathing all the time? Yes. It is impossible to produce oxygen without solar energy. So if you are breathing, means you are using solar energy. If you are drinking water, means you are using solar energy. Right? So let me ask this question once again. How many of you are using solar energy? Oh, everyone. Thank God, मरने के पहले आपको पता चल गया कि आप सोलर एनर्जी का उपयोग करते हैं, अदरवाइज बिना इसके ही मर जाते. you would die. We all exist because of solar energy. But look at the ignorance of this modern human. He doesn't even know that he exists because of solar energy. He doesn't even know that he uses solar energy in major way. So if you are using so much solar energy, and if your lights and fans and vehicles and kitchen also runs on solar energy, what's a big deal? Will that be a big deal? But somehow we made it a very big deal. Using solar energy is something very big. No, it has to be the most simplest and most common thing that we should be doing in our life, switching to solar energy. But, we have to be careful, because with the modern human is another characteristic. We are expert, rather than we are super expert in solving one problem and creating. Wow, everybody knows this. We solve one problem, create another problem. Oh, that if we used to do it, we don't do it now. You know what we do? Because we are more advanced, now we solve one problem and create two more problems. We are advanced now. And that's why the problems are increasing, nature is degrading, violence is increasing, relations are degrading. So I made some rules. I call them fundamental laws of human existence. If humanity wants to survive on this planet, you must follow this rule. And they are fundamental in nature, which means what? Whether you like it or not, you have to follow. It is applicable to you. So you have to follow these fundamental rules, and these are also laws of sustainability. What are these rules? It is based on Gandhian philosophy, by the way. The first law is limit your consumption, and the second one is localize your production. All these low carbon lifestyle, if you really want to learn, follow this rule. Limit your consumption, localize your production. Anything and everything that you are using in your life, follow this rule. Limit your consumption, localize your production. Let us understand why should we do this. Gandhiji said, nearly 100 years back, he said, there is only enough in the world for everyone's need, not for anyone's greed. Have you all heard of it? Yes? What do you do? It's sloka from Upanishad, it is also there in Gita. But not only this, every scripture and every religion talks about it. We have to all put a limit to our desires. You know why? Why it is said everywhere? I think one of the best logic is that, look, the entire planet is fixed body. Our size of the earth is fixed. If population increases and becomes double, can we all come together and stretch our planet and make it bigger? Can we do this? No. Can we increase the amount of water on the planet, soil on the planet, minerals on the planet? Nothing. Everything is fixed and finite. But somehow this modern human thinks that, no, we should increase, we should grow, we should increase our production, we should increase our consumption. Is that possible? No. When everything is finite, how can you continuously increase? So that is not possible. You need to limit your consumption. And I tell you, no amount of scientific and technological advancement can help us to violate this law. No matter, you can actually develop 5G network, 10G network, you can go to moon and Mars, you cannot violate this law, limit your consumption. Is that all clear? Once you limit your consumption, then you localize your production. Whatever limited consumption you want, it must come locally. Why? Because if it is not coming locally, if it is centralized, what happens whenever we centralize, it results in unequal distribution. And unequal distribution means inequity, asamanta. And whenever there is a inequity in the world, it is always going to result in lack of peace, isn't it? So see what is happening in last 30-40 years. Science is growing, technology is growing, economy is growing. Is brotherhood also growing? No. Is the love between people growing? No. Is the violence growing? Yes. You know why? Because we do not follow this. So these are fundamental to our existence. Limit our consumption, localize our production. If you want to use water, limit your consumption and localize your production. Limit your consumption means do not waste. Do not take bath with the bathtub. Localize your production means recharge water locally as much as possible. That is fundamental. If you want to eat food, limit your consumption. Do not waste it. And localize your production means use local food. Do not bring your tomatoes from 500 kilometers and potatoes from 1000 kilometers and whatnot. If you want to use clothes, limit your consumption. Do not, put and fill your cupboards with all kind of clothes. So much so that some pair of clothes keep waiting for honor. When is my honor going to wear me next time, isn't it? Does that happen? Yes. Please don't do this. This is a low carbon lifestyle. So limit your consumption, localize your production. And the biggest of all the culprit is energy. If at all you want to use energy, rule number 1 is limit your consumption. And rule number 2 is localize your production. And when we apply this to energy, it becomes Energy Swaraj. Limit your consumption, localize your production. What is Energy Swaraj? Energy by locals for locals. And as I said, energy is the biggest driving force, biggest problem. Everything is driven by energy. If you solve the problem of energy, I believe everything can be solved. So we need to all switch to solar energy 100%. That is, there is no choice. And you promised me that sometime in your life you are going to do this. To do that, you need to follow this. Switching to solar energy should not be done blindly. As I said, we tend to solve one problem and create another problem. So if you are going to use solar energy blindly, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, you are again going to cry. There's so much of disposal and waste and all. So follow this rule, AMG, avoid, minimize, generate. So step number 1 is, if you want to use solar energy, step number 1 is avoid the use of energy as much as possible. Even if it is solar energy, do not use. I'm a professor of solar energy, I'm brand ambassador of solar energy, and my job is to promote solar energy. But what I'm saying, rule number 1, do not use solar energy also. You know why? Because there is no manufacturing in the world which does not have side effect. Absolutely nothing. Brushing your teeth has also environmental impact. But to make solar panels, it's a very complicated process to make silicon, and then you need to make solar cell and then module. For making module, you require glass and frame and wires and structures and electronics. All these materials are required, and at the end of life, again you have to recycle it. So therefore, best thing you can do in your life is avoid the use of energy. What does it mean? Avoid means what? What do I do if I want to avoid energy means what? What you should be doing? This is the greatest example of low carbon lifestyle. Nothing can be better, nothing can beat this. What? Don't use anything, or don't avoid using things. What you can avoid? What you can avoid? For use of electricity can be avoided. For example, I have avoided ironing my clothes. It takes a lot of energy, 700 and 800 watt of power it takes. This bulb may be only 40, 50, 60 watt, but ironing is 700 watts. Let me explain, I will come back. So, stop ironing your clothes. It takes a lot of energy. What else can be avoided? What else can be avoided? When I started looking at my home, first thing I saw is refrigerator can be avoided. What do you think? Can we live without refrigerators? No, we can't. My God. Krishna, Lord Krishna. Krishna loved butter and milk like anything. And we have seen so many posters of Lord Krishna. Have you ever seen in any of the poster in the background a photo of refrigerator also? No, Krishna was living without refrigerator. Centuries and centuries people lived without refrigerator. We only got spoiled very recently, last 20, 30 years. Before that we were not using refrigerator. So when centuries and centuries people can live, why can't we live? We are more modern and smart people, right? Our science is advanced. We should be doing better job than them. We should avoid use of refrigerator. For many reasons, One of the reason is every time when you use refrigerator for one day, it results in 1 unit of electricity consumption, which is equal to 1 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission, which is going to stay in the atmosphere for how many years? 300 years. So तुम्हारा जो एक दिन का सुख है फ्रिज को यूज करने का, उसका दुख कितने साल का होगा? 300 साल का. वो दुख कौन भुगतने वाला है? नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. किसकी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन? योर ओन चिल्ड्रन, पड़ोसी के चिल्ड्रन नहीं, तुम्हारे खुद के बच्चे बिगड़ेंगे, भुगतेंगे 300 years. If you are going to take bath with the hot water, 1 unit of electricity, one bath is 1 unit of electricity, 1 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission. एक बार गर्म पानी से नहाने का सुख, 300 साल का दुख. 1 घंटा एसी में बैठे, 1 यूनिट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, 300 years. 300 years means 10 generation. एक दिन जो एनर्जी यूज की, उसका भुगतान कब तक करेंगे? 300 साल मतलब 10 generations. What you call such an act? that you do but your children are going to bear? ऐसे काम को क्या बोलेंगे? तुम करो और तुम्हारी 10 जनरेशन भुगतती रहे उसको. Selfish is a very soft word, you know. तुम करो तुम्हारे 10 जन. मुझे लगता है ये किसी पाप से कम नहीं, isn't it? ये किसी पाप से कम नहीं. जो हम करते हैं हमारे बच्चे भुगतते हैं, है ना. हम जो उस नदी में नहाते थे आज हमारे बच्चे नहीं कर सकते. So this is really a crime at the highest level that we are doing it. And if you really understand what it means, one of the best low carbon lifestyle is avoid, do not use. That is really the best, because anything that you are going to use is going to have impact. मेरे घर में फ्रिज नहीं है, मेरे घर में गीज़र नहीं है, मेरे घर में एसी नहीं है, माइक्रोवेव नहीं है, और ऐसा भी नहीं कि मैं गरीब आदमी हूँ. यू नो, आई एम अ प्रोफेसर ऑफ IIT बॉम्बे, आई एम नॉट अ पुअर पर्सन. और उससे भी खास बात है कि मैं दुखी भी नहीं हूँ. डू आई लुक लाइक अ सैड पर्सन? ओ माई गॉड, घर में फ्रिज नहीं कैसे रहूँ, एसी नहीं कैसे रहूँ? डू आई लुक लाइक अ सैड पर्सन? नो. उससे भी खास बात है, मेरी शादी हुए 20 साल हो गए, अभी तक मुझे तलाक भी नहीं मिला है. कहने का मतलब है कि आप सब लोग भी ऐसे रहने लगोगे, लो एनर्जी लाइफ स्टाइल, nothing will happen to you also. We can all survive, you know, we have been living like this for ages. So first step is avoid the use of energy, don't use it. That is the best thing you can do. If you cannot avoid, next step is minimize the use of energy. How do I minimize? Use energy in a very efficient way. And right now there are appliances available which are super efficient. Use efficient. If you want to use light, use LED. If you want to use fan, there are BLDC fans available which takes less than half of power, and therefore half of electricity will be saved, half of carbon dioxide emission will be saved. What else? The best thing to do is avoid the use of refrigerator, but if you cannot avoid it, minimize it. Do not buy 2 doors and 3 doors and 4 doors refrigerator, you know. People are trying to make room inside the refrigerator. इतना बड़ा refrigerator use करते हैं, और क्या करते पता है? उसके अंदर अचार रख के खाते हैं. मुझे लगता है दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा पाप है फ्रिज के अंदर अचार रख के खाना. आप लोगों से कुछ लोग करते हैं? नो, प्लीज डोंट डू दिस. Buy a small 160 liter refrigerator for your critical needs. If at all you want to do 5-star, your energy consumption will go down by 60-70%. AC should not be used. But if at all you want to use AC, do not make a big room. Why? Because what AC is doing in your bedroom, AC is cooling the roof, AC is cooling the wall, AC is cooling the floor and furniture, and finally at the end, AC is cooling your small body 6 feet by 2 feet. कितना बदतमीज यूज है एसी का, नहीं? पूरा जमाने भर की चीजें ठंडी करता है एक तरह से शरीर को ठंडा करने के लिए. डोंट डू दिस प्लीज. हाँ, इफ यू वांट टू यूज एसी, मेक अ स्मॉल enclosure or a place where you cool down. That's it. Use 5-star AC. Your energy requirements will go down very significantly. 1/3 energy you should avoid, 1/3 energy you should minimize. So 66% energy that you are consuming is not even required. Not even required today. Then it is actually low carbon lifestyle if you can really do this. And the last step is generate energy. If you cannot avoid, minimize. If you cannot minimize, generate. Where should you generate? Locally. Wherever you are. Do not take connection, electricity connection. Why? Because for that connection, there are thousands of kilometers of wires and infrastructure has been laid down. That is carbon footprint. Electricity comes from somewhere. That is also carbon footprint. Don't do that. So generate your own electricity locally. So I hope all of you are going to remember this rule, AMG, and all the mantras of low carbon lifestyle are actually inside this AMG. You can always think, you know, anything that you want to use, apply this AMG. Will you all remember? Yes? A means avoid. M means minimize. And G means how much? 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And if you're not going to follow AMG rule, you will have to say OMG, oh my God, solar energy is expensive, oh my God, rooftop space is not there, oh my God, policy is not there, subsidy is not there. All kind of excuses will come if you're not going to do it properly. So do follow AMG, and that's why I feel that Energy Swaraj or energy independence or energy Atmanirbharta is a very, very powerful tool for every individual, every institution, every country. Irrespective of whether it is America or Germany or Japan or Africa or India, energy independence is the most powerful thing that can happen to any country today. And if If you are going to become energy independent, your country is going to become energy independent. If you are going to become energy independent, we are going to create a lot of jobs. Because a lot of people will require to install and repair and maintenance. If you are going to become energy independent, a lot of jobs will be created, money will flow in a local economy will become stronger. And if you are going to become energy independent, you will also be able to mitigate the climate change. So it's a very powerful tool, and there are many, many benefits. And that's why in 2019, I've taken part in an international competition called by IEEE, Empowering Billion Lives. And I presented this idea of Energy Swaraj. And we have beaten the team at a national level, Asia level, and also at the global level. 459 teams we have beaten. And we were winner of the grand prize of $100,000 US. I have donated that money and created this foundation. And the whole idea of this foundation to establish Energy Swaraj as a solution to not one problem, but every problem that the world faces today, including global peace and partnership. The solution lies in Energy Swaraj. I also believe that it is impossible for the governments to solve this problem. Governments alone cannot solve the problem, and there is a proof of it. Last 30-40 years, look at the Kyoto Protocol. It came in 1998. Then Paris Agreement, 2015. COP meetings, 26 meetings have happened, 27 meetings is going to take place. Every meeting and every international agreement, what we discuss is to reduce our carbon emission. But the reality is that our carbon emissions are increasing. It clearly shows that government actions are not proving enough. It is not arresting the climate change. In fact, climate change is worsening every single year. Therefore, that will not work. Who has caused the climate change? Who has caused the climate change? I as individual. Who is going to solve it? I is going to solve it. Let us not wait for the government. And that's why I believe that it has to become a public movement. Every individual should start doing something. Every individual should take pride in saying that I do not have electricity connection at home. Then it becomes a movement. You should start taking pride in saying that I am not part of the pollution, I am part of the solution. You should take pride in saying that I am not ironing my clothes. You should take pride in saying that I am living a low energy life. In fact, low energy life has to become the fashion of the modern world. Isn't it? Then only we can solve the problem. So as I said, I stopped ironing my clothes, and I have 2 daughters, and we have decided to create a fashion. We decided that whenever they will get married, in the marriage function, we are only going to invite those people who come without ironing their clothes. Isn't it a good fashion idea? Yeah. If anybody comes with iron clothes, we'll say thank you very much, Kalana. Let us all start doing this. Let us take pride in saying that I am using less, I am consuming less, because there is no other solution. No science and technology will help you to do that. Right? And that's why I started living in this bus, and that's why I left my home for 11 years. Not because I got crazy. इसलिए नहीं कि प्रोफेसर का दिमाग का स्क्रू ढीला हो गया, भी अचानक घर छोड़ दिया 11 साल के लिए. No, but because it's a very serious problem, it is threat to the life itself. So this bus is not a bus, it is my home for 11 years. Last almost 2 years I have been living inside. There is a bed inside, there is a kitchen inside, there is a washroom inside, there is a training room inside, there is a library inside, there is an office inside. Also there is a temple inside, and a small garden is also inside. And there are solar panels on the top, and that generates enough electricity throughout the year, and that is enough to fulfill all energy requirement except the engine of the bus that runs on diesel only. But all my energy requirements are fulfilled with the solar panels. So would you like to visit my home? Yes. Unfortunately, it is not here. I mean, the beauty of my home is it can go anywhere, but we could not bring it here. It is parked in the tiny tot near PTS. So if anybody wish to do, you can do this. I'm here only till tonight, and tomorrow morning I'll be moving. So let us all individual and institutions start taking action. As I said, governments cannot do much, industries will not do much. It is us as an individual and institution who can do really much, and therefore we should all taking some action. Would you like to take some actions? Yes. There are 7 action package, शादी के लिए 7 फेरे होते हैं, ऐसे मैंने 7 एक्शन आइटम बनाए. तो आपको ये 7 एक्शन लिया तो क्लाइमेट चेंज को रोक पाएंगे. Action number 1 is become energy literate. As I said, it doesn't matter whether you are educated or not, but it is very clear that we are energy illiterate. So become energy literate first. Realize where the energy is coming from. Petrol is not coming from petrol pump. It takes 5,000 kilometers of journey in enormous amount of machining before it reaches to you. The electricity from coal is not coming just like that. It travels sometimes 10,000 kilometers. So once you realize that it is so complicated to use energy, we will all start avoiding it. So become energy literate. This is a 3 hours training program that I have developed, and it is available for free. It is available online. You can do on your own pace. So you become energy literate, and many of you can become volunteers, and you can become the trainer of energy literacy training program, and in your schools, in your society, in your industry, wherever you want, you can implement this training. I think that is one of the most important steps to solve the problem of climate change. The first step is become energy literate. Automatically your all energy consumption will significantly reduce. Second step is, it is not enough that you become energy literate. It is important that your neighbor is also energy literate. Why? Because you can reduce your carbon emission, but if your neighbor is not doing it, we are equally going to suffer. Because once carbon dioxide is emitted, whether you emit or your neighbor is emit, everybody suffers equally, right? So make sure the others are also energy literate. So take a pledge today that you are going to make 100 others energy literate in one year. Good idea? Third thing is, start reducing your electricity consumption from today. Start taking action right now. Start reducing your electricity consumption. How much? By whatever choice you make, 10%, 20%, 30%. Even in Victoria Memorial, we can actually make a plan. How can we reduce our energy consumption by some percentage? And 10-20% will be so easy to do this. Just becoming aware without any investment. Fourth thing is, encourage others to reduce their electricity consumption for the same logic that everybody has to cut down carbon emission. Fifth is, convert one of your room or classroom or whatever the case into solar energy 100%. That one room you please convert into solar energy and do it yourself. Do not hire somebody. You buy things. And there is a very simple training program that I am designing now, that you can buy, you can install everything. Solar energy is such a simple thing. You can do yourself, and soon you will be able to do this. Sixth is, start Energy Swaraj clubs. So whichever part you are living in, you can start a club. You can found a club. It requires 11 members, and start taking action. Becoming aware is not going to solve the problem of climate change. Taking action will solve the problem. So start taking some action, and that can action be through the Energy Swaraj clubs, and I call them action nodes. And if at all we want to create a movement, if at all it is going to be movement, it is through this action node that we are going to create. And last but not least, first time in the history of the planet, there is a problem which belongs to every human being. So it is not enough that one person do, 2% do, or one country or 1 crore people. Every human being on the planet has to do it, and therefore we need to bring this awareness to everyone. And with the help of social media, you can help us to do that. You can actually follow my handles, Twitter handles, Dr. Chetan Solanki, or LinkedIn, or whichever handle that you can find it. Also, we do not take funds from the government, because I believe strongly that this has to become the public movement. It is not enough that the government only take part, but every individual should take part. And my yatra is being supported by the people, and all of you are invited to take part, and please help us with the funds so that we can spread this message to not millions but billions of people, not only within India but outside India also. So that's it. At the end, I would like to summarize, and not I would like to summarize, I would like to take your help to summarize the talk. And and I'm going to do what professors are best in doing, taking an exam, right? So I'm going to take your quick exam. There are 3 questions that I'm going to put on the screen. These are the fill in the blanks, and what you need to do is you need to fill the blanks. Okay, ready? Let's see who does it first. Okay, so here is the question number 1. Change. Climate is not changing, climate has changed. All of us can feel and experience in our life, it has already changed. Very nice. Next. Who has caused the climate change? I have caused the climate change, because I am the one who use energy, I am the one who use resources, and therefore I am the one who has caused the climate change. Okay. Last. Who will be the solution to the climate change? I will be the solution. Nobody else is going to come. Government is not going to. Government will do whatever that needs to be done. But each one of us has to take part because the problem is so huge. And let us all start acting right now. And if you're not going to act right now, if you're not going to take a drastic action, if you're not going to take immediate action, it is estimated that by the end of this century, that is 78 years from now, the global temperature will rise to minimum 3 degrees centigrade and up to 6 degrees centigrade. Right now, the global temperature rise is only 1.1 degree centigrade, and within 1.1 degree centigrade, look at the kind of disasters that are taking place in the world. Imagine what will happen at 3 degrees centigrade, 4 degree, 5 degree, 6 degree. If that happens, there is already big question mark whether human life can survive or not. Maybe 80 years down the line, 100 years down the line, 150 years down the line. And if you are going to survive, how many of us are going to survive? And those who are going to survive, in what shape and size they are going to survive? These are already big question mark. So before it becomes too late, let us start taking action. Otherwise, we say that once upon a time, there were dinosaurs on the planet. They are not there anymore. They disappeared because of the climate change. And if we continue to behave like this, some 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years later, a new species will appear on the planet, and they will say, once upon a time, there were humans on the planet. Oh my God. What are we talking in this beautiful evening, sitting in the Victoria Memorial? But it looks like the fact of life, isn't it? All our scientific data tells us that we are going to head in that direction. Our experience tells us that we are heading in that direction. So before it becomes too late, let us all start following AMG. Let us all start following super low carbon lifestyle and ensure that we leave behind the better and beautiful world. So with this note, once again, thank you so much for inviting me here. Thank you very much.
Should I switch off the air conditioners?
Yes, please.
Start.
Yes. Switch off air conditioner, switch off 20% of the lights also.
Switch off the unnecessary one. Maybe one can remain on. No, the ACs. I'm talking of the ACs. Are Dipankar, right.
No, I think it will remain enough cold. Yeah.
I'm saying that it's already cold. Switch off
Yeah.
a couple of air conditioners.
Screen also should
So
be off.
now it's time for questions. I'm sure
Yes,
you will take
I-
questions.
yes, I'll
Are
be.
you tired?
No, not at all.
You still look happy.
Yes.
Okay. He was talking about AMGs, and most of us are now wondering, we go back home, and reminder, I haven't renewed my AMC for the gadgets, you see, annual maintenance contracts. That's what we do all the time, not AMG, but AMCs that we keep on renewing. So questions, please, for Professor Solanki. Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful discussion. Sir, just wanted to know, you have kept your bus for everything on solar, but it's running on diesel. So, any reason for that, sir?
Yeah, I mean, we can run that also on solar, but the kind of surface area available to us, the per day travel will be only 10, 15, 20 kilometers. And the climate clock is ticking very fast, and I don't want to constrain myself because we need to reach out to people very fast. And that's why we decided to run on diesel. Electricity charging stations are also not available everywhere. So that will be a lot of constraint that will be putting, which is unnecessary. And my this path that I do by driving diesel vehicle, my aim is that for every kilogram carbon dioxide I emit, I save 1 million kilograms with the help of others. And that's why I feel that it's okay to do this.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yes, please, go ahead. Microphone ta ekটু engage আরেকটা microphone এইতো
Give it.
Sir, solar energy has a lot of issues about quality, issues about storage. If indeed we are going to switch to solar energy, how do you think we're going to do that, solve these issues? Secondly is that, we are, electrification, particularly of mobility, is taking place. We are taking a huge leap there. But it seems we are going in for spot zero emissions, because the battery electric vehicles will be drawing their power from coal-generated energy, right?
Yeah.
So your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so first you said the solar energy has a lot of issues. My question is, are these issues bigger than the carbon dioxide emission that every second happening because of the coal burning?
No, sir, but we need to kind of address these if we are really going to go forward. Don't you think?
First of all, I mean, I have been using solar energy for a long time. My bus is running for 2 years and there are no issues. The problem is, it is not the problem with the technology, it is the people who actually install or do in a particular manner. It is a problem. Most of the solar installation comes because of the government funding, and they go behind this L1, lowest cost possible. That is where the people cut the corner. But the solar PV technology, the module, gets a warranty of 25 years. Is there any other product, the Samsung or Apple or any mobile phone gets a warranty of 25 years?
Is the kind of flow of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It is stored in a grid from where we draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, aren't there any issues there? I mean,
See, anything that is
Please use the microphone.
Anything-
The whole thing is being recorded. Okay.
anything that is used once is a super problem. Like coal is used once, burnt and finished. Anything that you use multiple times, like batteries, once you install a battery, you are going to use at least 1,000 cycles of charging and discharging. Once you use panel, it is going to be used for at least 25-30 years. All those problems as compared to any one-time use is much less. And technology is so advanced. Today we are talking about big power plants and reliability, and everything is happening on solar. So if that all issue, it is the issue of understanding and the skill level of the person who is doing it. But it is not the issue with the technology.
you think it is cost effective as compared to fossil fuel?
I think it is not a question of cost anymore, it is a question of survival. First of all, it is cost effective. The cost of solar electricity that government all over the country is buying is the rate of 2.5 to 3 rupees per unit. The domestic electricity prices are 6 rupees, 7 rupees, and industrial electricity prices 7, 8, 9 rupees. So it is already cost effective as compared to that. But I don't think that we should think from the cost perspective. By the way, another angle that the humans, modern humans, we do not buy things because of the cost reason. You know that? The gold is 50,000 rupees for 10 gram. Do people buy gold? Yes. The cars are 5 lakhs and 6 lakh and 10 lakhs. As compared to two-wheelers, very expensive. Do people buy cars? Yes. So we buy things because they become part of our priority, not because they are cheap or expensive. Please do not mistake.
And
The
what about-
moment solar energy becomes part of your priority, we realize that the kind of disasters which each individual has caused for our own children, forget about everything. Can't you spend 2 lakh rupees for making your life for your children? It's only 2 lakh rupees. That is what you take for your home to solar powered, much less than your car. So I don't think it is a question of cost anymore. It is a question of survivability. If climate change is considered and called as emergency, please treat it as emergency. It is not a normal situation.
And sir, about storage of.
So about storage, I said the batteries, anything that is used multiple times is okay. I mean, we use battery for 600 cycles, 1000 cycles. So it is there. Battery technology is also improving by leaps and bounds, and the price is also coming down significantly. But even today, all the whatever you need is available. The battery storage is available. Very large quantities available. If people are storing in a megawatt hour, which means even in power plant level, people are using batteries. And the second question you mentioned about the electric vehicle, people feel and the government feel by adopting to electric vehicle they are going to solve the problem. Answer is no, because the solution to the problem is not in producing and consuming different items. The solution to the problem is in avoiding, minimizing and generating. If you are going to just recharge your vehicles from electricity coming from coal, you are just fooling yourself. Yes, we may be little better, 10%, 20% better, because the efficiency of electric vehicles is better. But overall it is literally fooling ourselves by first of all discarding this vehicle, then going to the next vehicle. The vehicle making itself has taken so much energy. Hindi mein kahavat hai, 900 चूहे खा के बिल्ली हज को चली, you know, by buying vehicle itself you have created so much problem and environmental pollution, and then you say I am using electric vehicle. No, that cannot be the solution. The only solution is AMG.
Yes, sir.
So there are two questions. One is in different geographical regions, there is a variation in density of solar energy. Like if you go to a very desert area, arid zone like Rajasthan or maybe Middle East, so you get more solar energy there. As compared to like in Calcutta, there's a humid climate. So how do we create a balancing impact? Suppose if we switch over to solar use, if you are not getting that much of density, then that variation will persist time and again. This is one question. Second is that you have set a goal of 11 years. So what is the like roadmap you have set for 11 years and what beyond that?
Well, the first thing is, suppose we have to make a road in a flat region and a hilly region, we are going to adapt to the local condition. So depending on whatever solar radiation is falling, for example, Germany, the amount of solar radiation falling in Germany is only 40% of what falls in India. But they are one of the highest users of solar energy, So it doesn't matter, 40%, 60%, 80%, more light, less light, doesn't matter. You design your solar system as per your local condition. Whatever is local condition, even in Cherrapunji you can design a system which will work 365 days in a year. So that is depending on local geographical condition, you have to design it. And my goal of 11 years, many people keep asking, why you have chosen to, travel for 11 years, and I keep saying that आज के आधुनिक लोग इतने बिगड़े हुए हैं कि एक बार में तो सुधरने वाले नहीं हैं. So in 11 years I am going to travel and crisscross the country many times, so that the same message, and it's not new message, and somebody has mentioned that it is there in the our scriptures also, कि this is how it should be, this is how we should live on the planet. But we have spoiled ourselves, and we can't even imagine that we can live without refrigerator. Until unless we come back to the basics, the root with the nature, दुनिया का कोई साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी इस समस्या को हल नहीं कर सकता. सो आई एम होपिंग दैट ये समस्या इतनी बड़ी है कि 1-2 साल में सॉल्व होने वाली नहीं है, 2-4 साल की यात्रा से नहीं होगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई 11 ईयर्स. ऑल्सो 2030 तक सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स का टारगेट है. सो व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग 2020 में, तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट यदि यात्रा सफल हो गई तो द गोल विल बी अचीव्ड. एंड थर्ड थिंग इज 11 इज अ गुड नंबर इन इंडिया, राइट. 11 अच्छा है, इसलिए 11 का आंकड़ा पसंद किया.
Okay, sir, we wish you all the very. Okay, sir, wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And don't wish me like that, Surrender your electricity connection. That will be a great wish to me.
No, I also wanted to ask you why this particular choice of 11 years. Sustainable development goals, I understand that. Because when you left home, even Ramchandra ji left for 14 years. Yeah. Why
Please don't ask me to live for 14 years.
I'm asking why 11, or the present education system is 11 years in the school stage. So you think to complete that course,
No, there are, couple of things. As I said, 1 or 2 or 5 years is not going to be sufficient. Number one, 2030 is a good target because there is aligned with sustainable development goals. Third thing that time came to my mind is 11 अच्छा आंकड़ा है. अच्छा 11 का अच्छा आंकड़ा. That's it.
Good. Priyadarshi, now, yes. As long as it was not the first one, it was fine. Go ahead.
I see.
And he will now come with 3 questions at least.
Okay.
And then ask
Not-
6 questions.
No, not at all. Other 2.
Oh,
No.
no.
Only 2. First, I had what Mr. Raman described your biodata. I find it's a wonder and a marvel. I was simply amazed on hearing your the biodata. And now I see you as a modern day Arjuna, fighting to save the earth, and this as a chariot, as your chariot. As Arjuna was fighting to save the earth with the Lord in his heart. And I believe the Lord Krishna is with you. In these 11 years, in this 11 years Kurukshetra, which you are engaged in. Now, I have a couple of questions, Now, the root cause of all you said is man has always multiplied his wants and desires. More one has an arithmetic, if one gets something in arithmetic progression, automatically what happens is wants and desires increase in geometric progression. So, this is a very uphill and I think it's almost impossible task. How do you manage human nature? How do you manage the wants and desires, which are cropping up at every moment. One gets a bicycle, one wants a scooter. One has a scooter, one wants a four-wheeler. Four-wheeler, oh, he's not satisfied. For a moment he'll be satisfied. Then he wants a bigger, better four-wheeler for himself. And so on and so forth. So, finally, how do you manage this war against human nature? This wants and desires. Now, you said message, what you said, this is the message of the rishis of ancient India. You have simply reiterated the message of the rishis of India. You have imbibed it. You have imbibed it, you have assimilated it, and you have given the message. You have, again presented the message of the rishis of India. Live according to your need. Just live according to what you need. Don't live according to your wants and desires, because that would lead to disaster for yourself and for the planet. So one thing is this, managing human nature. Second thing you said is localizing the product. But that's the most difficult task, because people would always fancy to have things from America. If you go to a person's home, the first thing he'll show is that, okay, he has got it from USA. Or even if he has not got to the USA, he'll say somebody has got it from the USA or from Europe. So these two things are, very uphill tasks. How do you manage?
Well, I mean,
you're fighting human nature.
See, the foundation or the fundamental to both this problem is actually the same thing, that we do not understand what we want. And as I said in the beginning, we have lost the touch of philosophy. I mean, ultimately, what every human being is looking for, he actually doesn't know. The modern human knows even less, And I'd like to share a small incident that happened with me when I was in Europe doing my PhD. So one Singh came, and he said, and there was like very few Indian were there, and he said, we want to, meet Indians and want to discuss something, and we're happy to. So 10-15 us went there to meet him. So he asked us, what are you doing here? And we all said, with proudly that we are all, doing PhD and doing research. He said, okay, why are you doing research? And we said, again with the pride, saying that, we want to find out the science and knowledge, and so that we can help society and do this and do that. He kept listening, and after some time he said, stop, nonsense. He said, you're not doing PhD for, ज्ञान बढ़ाने के लिए. He said, सच बताओ, अच्छी नौकरी के लिए PhD कर रहे हो. I said, हाँ, बात तो सही है, अच्छी नौकरी के लिए. And I said, okay, अच्छी नौकरी क्यों करना है? Then I said, अच्छी नौकरी करेंगे तो हम ये प्रोडक्ट बनाएंगे, ये टेक्नोलॉजी लेके आएंगे, ये प्रोडक्ट सोसाइटी में जाएगा, समाज का भला होगा. I said, again after some time he said, stop, nonsense, ये कुछ नहीं करने वाले. सही बताओ, अच्छे पैसे चाहिए. I said, हाँ, ये बात भी सही है. अच्छी पढ़ाई करना है क्योंकि अच्छी नौकरी चाहिए, अच्छी नौकरी करना है क्योंकि अच्छे पैसे चाहिए. He said, okay, do one thing, मैं एक काम करता हूँ, I'll give 1 crore rupees to everybody's account. I'm talking about 1999. He said, I'll give 1 crore rupees to everybody's account. But एक कंडीशन है, क्या? वो पैसे को तुम यूज़ नहीं कर सकते. तो इस बार हमने बोला, गुरुदेव क्या नॉनसेंस है, पैसे तो यूज़ करने के लिए तो कमाते हैं. He said, look at how does the mind work, that we want studying to get a job, for that we want money, and what we want to do with the money, we want to buy some things. So he said, अच्छा क्या खरीदोगे, पैसे से क्या खरीदोगे? तो हमने बोला सोच समझ के एक बंगला और एक गाड़ी वगैरह वगैरह. He said, okay, चलो एक बंगला और एक गाड़ी सबको दिया, पर एक शर्त है, क्या? उसको यूज़ नहीं कर सकते. तो हमने बोला, महाराज जी, यूज़ करने के लिए तो सब करते हैं. अच्छा देखो, he said, look at the mind how it works. अच्छा पढ़ाई क्योंकि नौकरी, उससे पैसा, पैसे से सामान खरीदना है, और सामान क्यों खरीदना है? क्योंकि उसको यूज़ करना है. Then he said, अच्छा यूज़ करने से क्या होता है? मान लो बड़े बंगले में रह रहे हैं, बड़े गाड़ी में रह रहे हैं, तो यूज़ करने से क्या होता है? तो हमने थोड़ी देर सोचा और कहा, अच्छा लगता है. ये होता है, BMW से उतरेंगे तो क्या लगेगा? कोई देखेगा तो अच्छा लगेगा, BMW से उतर रहे हैं. तो ही सेड, अरे अच्छा लगना ही तुम्हारा टारगेट था, तो इतना टेढ़ा तरीके से क्यों करते हो? यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज, पीपल डू नॉट इवन नो व्हाट दे वांट इन देयर लाइफ. यदि पता होता तो GDP के साथ स्माइल बढ़ रही होती ना, कम थोड़ी हो रही होती. बट दैट इज व्हाट, अगेन अनफॉर्चुनेट पार्ट इज दैट बीइंग इन इंडिया वी डू नॉट हैव स्पिरिचुअल टच, है ना. आइसक्रीम जब तक खाते नहीं ना, तो पता नहीं चलता आइसक्रीम क्या चीज़ होती है. जब तक योग ध्यान मेडिटेशन नहीं करेंगे तो पता भी नहीं चलेगा क्या चीज़ है. वी आर मिसिंग सच अ ब्यूटिफुल थिंग इन आवर लाइफ. एंड देयरफॉर वन ऑफ द बेस ऑफ दिस इज when we grow in one dimension, And right now the humans are growing in one dimension. What is that dimension? Economic growth. But human life is not one dimension. Human life has multiple dimensions. We need moral growth, we need spiritual growth, we need academic growth, we need economic growth. Everything is required, but it is required imbalance. If a balance is not there, यदि कुर्सी का एक पैर छोटा रह जाए या एक ही पैर बड़ा हो जाए बाकी छोटा रहे तो कुर्सी गिरने वाली है. And this is exactly same thing happening with us, the modern human being. We are all falling apart in our own lifetime. We are not happy the way we are supposed to be. इतना सब होने के बाद भी खुश नहीं है. So I think the root cause remains same. ये सब माया के चक्कर में पड़े जाते हैं. That's what our scripture says. What is माया? एक फ़ोन खरीद लिया, 6 महीने अच्छा लगा, फिर दूसरा फ़ोन चाहिए, दूसरा लिया, तीसरा चाहिए, तीसरा चौथा चाहिए. No, once we realize that the material is not going to give you the joy and pleasure that you are looking for, it will come when we go inward. That knowledge has been existed in the country. It has been practiced in the country, but unfortunately it is not now anymore. So let us understand that ये सबसे नहीं होने वाला. जितना simple रहेंगे, and I would like to quote one beautiful thing which summarizes the modern life by E.F. Schumacher. He was a British economist, and he has written a book called Small is Beautiful. उस book में उन्होंने एक quote लिखा है. He said, any intelligent fool, कोई भी बुद्धिमान गधा, any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex and more violent. It takes touch of a genius to make things simpler and smaller. कोई भी बुद्धिमान गधा चीज़ों को बड़ी बना सकता है, कॉम्प्लेक्स बना सकता है, वायलेंट बना सकता है. और ये मॉडर्न ह्यूमंस को देखो, what are we doing? Bigger house, bigger this, bigger mall, bigger that. More complex world. अमेरिका में कुछ होता है तो हमारी सब्जी भाजी के भाव बढ़ते हैं. How complex it is. And we call ourselves smart. No. He said it takes touch of a genius to make things simpler and smaller. एक जीनियस आदमी लगता है चीज़ों को छोटा और सरल बनाने के लिए. Are we doing that? No. If you are not doing that, then you are behaving like intelligent fool. And that is what the modernity is all about, becoming more intelligent fool. We do not know what we want, what we are doing. And what can be more stupid? And I keep saying everywhere. जब मैंने 2019 में जब वर्ल्ड टूर पे गया, मेरी यात्रा खत्म हुई, तो मॉडर्न ह्यूमंस के 3 लक्षण उसमें लिखे मैंने समरी में. द फर्स्ट characteristic of modern humans is that we are the most stupid animal ever existed on this planet. We are so stupid that we are destroying the very same air that we breathe, the very same water that we drink, and the very same soil from which we are growing food. Can anybody be more stupid than this? No. We the modern humans are the most dangerous animal on the planet. Lions and tigers do not have capacity to cause such a destruction that we do to the planet. And third, we the modern humans are the most ignorant animal on the planet. We do not even know that we exist because of solar energy. And we feel that when we use solar panel, then only we use solar energy. What a disaster. ये धरती माँ रोती होगी नहीं, बोलती होगी ऐसा प्राणी जो मूर्ख है और खतरनाक है और अज्ञान भी है, इसका तो भगवान तू ही कुछ कर, है ना. बंदर के हाथ में उस तरह 2 डिग्री की बेवकूफ़ी होती है, पर मूर्खता के साथ में ये 3 डिग्री की बेवकूफ़ी है. और ये किसकी बेवकूफ़ी है? हम सब. वी आर दी लिविंग एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ ऑल दिस थिंग. सो आई थिंक again the solution lies in going inward, becoming spiritual together with moral and academic and economic. Then we are in balance, then we are going to enjoy, then we are going to live with the nature, then we will not fight and the love will spread. That has to be there. And one of the, again, fundamental to human nature, let me tell you, I'm Art of Living teacher, by the way, that's why I'm able to talk. In Art of Living we ask, why does every human being wants only love and peace? ऐसा कोई आदमी क्यों नहीं मिलता लाइफ में जो बोलता हो भगवान को, भगवान मुझे दुख दे दो, थोड़ा दुख थोड़ा परेशानी, ऐसा कोई मिलता है लाइफ में? हाँ, ऐसे कोई भगवान को बोले मुझे थोड़ा दुख दे दो, परेशानी दे दो, क्यों? Why do we do this? ऐसा क्यों करते हैं? Why? Because love and peace is our nature. We are made out of that. But with all this modern lifestyle, that gets spoiled. उसके ऊपर बहुत सारी लेयर जम जाती. So that is part of our nature, being loved and giving love. Being peaceful is a part of our nature. But when you are going to centralize, peace will not increase, only violence will increase. And that's why I said, ये जो दो नियम बताएं, limit your consumption and localize your production, are fundamental to human existence. Humans cannot exist, I guarantee you. You can write on the wall somewhere, we will not exist if you are not going to follow this rule and violate any one of this. So let us get back to the center. And what is center? Sun is the center of our life. उसके बिना तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता. तो let us come back to our center. जहाज का पंछी उड़ भी जाए तो जहाज पे आना पड़ता है ना. तो हम लोग पिछले 100-150 साल में रास्ता भटक गए, ऐसा मान लेते हैं. क्या रास्ता भटक गए? कोल यूज़ करना चालू किया, पेट्रोल करना, डीजल किया, रास्ता भटक गए, कोई बात नहीं. अब समझ में आ गई. तो let us get back to our center. And the center of our existence is sun. So let us live our life based on the sun and around the sun. Everything will be solved. But it is a big task. Let's see how it happens.
Yeah, the corporate world also kindles this kind of malady of want by doing things like buy one get one free, etc. All these kind of tempting offers just to multiply that malady among human beings. Absolutely correct. Still, they are chasing the money, right? Yeah.
No, but they can chase the money because it is their dharma. Industry's dharma is to make profit. Government's dharma is to get re-elected. But individual's dharma is to ensure that you live a world better for at least yourself. So an industry person is also an individual person. So as an industry they cannot do this, but as an individual they can do it. So that's why I say that each I is doing it, and I is the ultimate cause of the problem, and the I is ultimate going to be the solution to the problem.
Good. On that note, I think let's give Professor Solanki a big hand. Lot of lessons learned, lot of things to be implemented, and we thank you very much for all these pointers, things which we should have realized ourselves, but we always need somebody to point it out. These are axioms, self-evident truths, but then we always wait for somebody to come and point it out for us. I just want to add one more thing, that I'm very happy to see some of our participants of the Young Minds for a Compassionate World workshop present here, which we had at the end of June. It's a project which we have been doing with the Natural History Museum London and funded by the British Council. So through a photography workshop, intensive week-long photography workshop, these young minds have also learned how to build a compassionate world for the future, and they are going to submit their stories by the end of this month. This talk and some more talks we are planning is also a kind of continuity of that process, of that workshop, and we are glad that you people have also come here. And the sun is the center of everything. So every morning, do remember the sun, invoke the sun. I sometimes do, not by way of habit, by way of default sometimes, when I also say things which I learnt in my childhood, when I say Suryascha Mamanyuscha Manyupatescha Manyukripebhyaha Papebhyo Rakshanta Yadratriya Papamakarisham Manasa Vacha Hastabhyam, and so on. So I hope we invoke that every morning and make the center of our universe as the sun and the source of all our energy for the future. A lot of talk has gone on. Some tea is waiting outside, and before that gets too cold and we don't have the solar energy to heat it up again over here. So please join us for a cup of tea before dispersing for this afternoon. Thank you very much, all of you.